I got to let y'all all know right now that the PowerPoints get prettier as we go along. We're going to start out with the basic presentation here. They're going to get better and better. So these are some serious deer hunters here. I can see that right now. Well, we got a little information for you now on the Louisiana deer harvest from last year. I'm going to go over that with y'all here. We gather harvest data from 4 sources. Our WMAs, which are our wildlife management areas, our programs, the Deer Management Assistance Program, and our landowner antlerless deer tag program. We have a mail survey that we've been running since the 1960s at least. And of course, and the reason a lot of you guys are interested is this new reporting system that we just completed our first year. On the WMAs, we collect data 2 different ways. They are self-clearing data, where we have our little stations around the areas where guys go in and fill out their daily permits and drop in their little stubs at the end of the hunt. This kind of data gives us rather limited information, just sex, total count. And then we run a series of check stations where we get the full data. Age, antler measurements, weight, lactation. Occasionally we'll pull rumens, look at food habits. We get brain stems and lymph nodes for CWD testing. And that's where we are able to gather the important data that we use to manage our WMAs. The programs that I mentioned, DMAP and LADT, right at 840,000 acres in each program, killing about 9,000 deer apiece. Buck-doe ratio, about 1 buck to 1.5 does. Very, very similar right there, all that. A little bit heavier harvest on the DMAP lands, 1 per 90, and that's an average harvest rate. It varies according to habitat type and area. And again, on DMAP clubs, our cooperators collect full data there, all the information that we would get ourselves. On LADT, once again, kind of limited data, just males, females, and total count. The male survey, which like I said, we've been running a long time, is a 6% sample of basic license holders aged 16 to 59, plus a sample of lifetime holders. And what's you need to note here is that the senior and youth hunters are not included. So this is going to be a little different when we make a comparison. From that sample, and that's nearly a 14,000 person sample, about 3,400 respondents. And from that we derive these indices that I'm going to present to y'all. And we use this data as indices, not absolute counts or even estimates, but as an index for monitoring our long-term trends. This year, the male survey estimated roughly 163,000 deer hunters, and that's very stable. That's what we've been doing for at least the past half dozen years, pretty level. That accounted for 3.1 million hunter days. That's down just slightly, down 3%, an average of about 15 days per hunter. And you can see that the index this year was about 158,000 deer. And I want to note that's 21% down from last year. So that substantiates a lot of hunters' comments this year of a reduced harvest, of fewer sightings. Of course, we get plenty of hunters that say we had a great harvest, great year, average year, but in general, that's a 21% decline off of last year and the lowest index since 1986. So that's kind of significant right there. Hadn't seen that in a while. And I list the different components there. The modern gun, 132,000. Primitive or not so primitive, 14,000. Our bow hunters killing about 10,000 deer. And then the crossbow hunters accounting for 1,400. So a lot of people were interested in what that crossbow harvest would be. There it is, based on the male survey. Some more male survey data. What is the success of our hunters? As y'all can see there, over half, or right at half, our hunters don't kill a deer. So that's always interesting. About a quarter of our hunters kill one deer. And on down the line, 14% killing 2, 6% killing 3, 2% killing 4, 1% killing 5. And less than 1% of our hunters kill 6 deer. For an average kill of 1 deer per hunter. That's our average harvest in Louisiana. And just got back from the Deer Tech meeting that was held this year in Stuttgart. And it's interesting, that is very often the average harvest for a lot of southeastern states, about 1 deer per hunter. That's very common for many of the southeastern states. Some more information on the male survey. As y'all know, in 2006, we went to a more liberal antlerless harvest season with a full season available to take female deer in most parishes. So I ran a few averages. The period from 1990 to 2000, the average female component was 36% back in those days. And as y'all can see, it's kind of crept up over time. The 4 years prior to the change, I've got the line at the change right there. These 4 years, the average female harvest rate was 42%. And then when this change occurred and we went to, like I said, a more liberal antlerless season, there was a lot of concern, a lot of worry that everybody would go to laying the does down and we might annihilate the deer herd. But on a statewide basis, that just doesn't seem true. It does not seem apparent anywhere. I've seen no data that really indicates that. But there was a slight increase, and I think this is a little less than 4% increase in female harvest. But still, it's only there running about 46%. And that's not even half. Lots of states are killing a lot more does than that. And in fact, on our programs, as y'all saw earlier, the female harvest is much higher and sustainable. So no worries about overharvest right now with the new season. Doesn't mean that locally there aren't areas that we're still monitoring and watching, but on a statewide basis, that's what I see.